Have you ever wondered how an empire, born from the sands of the Arabian Peninsula, could rise to become one of the most influential civilizations in history? From the 7th to the 13th centuries, the Islamic world was a beacon of scientific advancement, cultural richness, and economic power. What were the secrets to its incredible success? Today, we're journeying back in time to uncover the key factors that forged the great Islamic empires. It all begins with a powerful, unifying force: faith. The emergence of Islam in the 7th century provided a common identity and a shared sense of purpose that transcended old tribal rivalries. This unity wasn't just spiritual, it created a stable social foundation. The principles of justice, charity, and community laid out in the Quran created a cohesive society ready for greatness. Imagine, for the first time, disparate groups seeing themselves as part of one large, connected family. This unity was the bedrock upon which the empire was built. It fueled an expansion that was not just about conquest, but about spreading a new way of life. This shared belief system motivated armies, administrators, and ordinary people to work towards a common goal, creating a momentum that seemed unstoppable. But unity alone doesn't build an empire. The early Islamic leaders were brilliant strategists and administrators. The Rashidun and Umayyad caliphs adopted and improved upon the sophisticated administrative systems of the empires they conquered, like the Byzantine and Sasanian Persians. They didn't just tear everything down. They were smart. They recognized what worked and adapted it. Taxes were systematized, a common currency, the dinar and dirham, was established, and a postal service called the barid kept this vast territory connected. This efficient bureaucracy ensured that resources were managed effectively, armies were paid, and the caliph's decrees were carried out from Spain to the borders of India. It was a well-oiled machine, allowing for smooth governance over an incredibly diverse and sprawling territory. One of the most remarkable secrets to the empire's success was its policy of tolerance, especially in the early centuries. While it was an Islamic empire, conquered peoples who were people of the book, like Christians and Jews, were generally allowed to practice their own faith. They had to pay a special tax, the jizya, but in return, they were granted protection and a degree of autonomy. This was incredibly pragmatic. Instead of forcing conversions, which often leads to rebellion, this policy allowed the empire to incorporate the skills and talents of diverse populations. It meant that skilled doctors, merchants, and scholars from different backgrounds could contribute to society, enriching the empire and ensuring stability. This created a cosmopolitan environment where different cultures could coexist and, more importantly, collaborate. This spirit of tolerance and intellectual curiosity led to one of history's greatest academic flowerings, the Islamic Golden Age. The empire became a magnet for scholars from all over the world. A massive translation movement was sponsored by caliphs like Al-Ma'mun, who established the legendary House of Wisdom in Baghdad. Here, the great works of Greek, Persian, and Indian thinkers from Aristotle and Plato to ancient medical texts were translated into Arabic. But they didn't just translate, they absorbed, critiqued, and built upon this knowledge. This wasn't just about preserving the past, it was about creating the future. This intellectual ferment laid the groundwork for incredible breakthroughs, and the breakthroughs were staggering. In mathematics, scholars like Al-Khwarizmi pioneered algebra. In fact, the word algebra comes from his book's title, Aijbbr. His work also introduced Hindu-Arabic numerals, including the concept of zero, to the Western world, revolutionizing calculation forever. In medicine, physicians like Ibn Sina, known in the West as Avicenna, wrote the Canon of Medicine, a monumental encyclopedia that became a standard medical textbook in Europe for centuries. They established the first true hospitals, with separate wards for different diseases, and developed advanced surgical techniques. In astronomy, observatories in Baghdad and Samarkand mapped the stars with unprecedented accuracy, leading to advancements in navigation and timekeeping. Thinkers like Ibn Haytham revolutionized optics and developed the scientific method centuries before it was formalized in Europe. This relentless pursuit of knowledge was a core engine of the empire's power and prestige. This intellectual boom was fueled by a thriving economy. The Islamic Empire sat at the crossroads of the world, controlling the major trade routes connecting Asia, Africa, and Europe. The Silk Road and maritime routes across the Indian Ocean all passed through its lands. Merchants traded in everything from Chinese silk and spices from the Indies to African gold and European furs. Cities like Baghdad, Cairo, and Cordoba became bustling hubs of commerce. The empire also saw an agricultural revolution, with new crops like sugarcane, rice, and cotton being introduced and cultivated using advanced irrigation techniques like qanats. This economic prosperity funded the armies, the great building projects, and the scholarly pursuits that defined the age. It created a vibrant urban culture and a high standard of living for many. Art and architecture also reflected the empire's glory. From the intricate geometric patterns and calligraphy that adorned mosques to the stunning arches of the Great Mosque of Cordoba and the majestic domes of the Umayyad Mosque in Damascus, Islamic architecture was a breathtaking fusion of different traditions. It was a visual language that spoke of order, beauty, and faith. This wasn't just about building pretty things. It was about creating spaces that inspired awe and reflected the divine order. The development of intricate tilework, arabesque designs, and masterful calligraphy created a unique and instantly recognizable artistic style that continues to inspire people today. So, when we look back at the success of the Islamic empires, we see it wasn't just one single secret. It was a powerful combination of factors, a unifying faith that provided social cohesion, brilliant and pragmatic governance that could manage a vast territory, a policy of relative tolerance that harnessed the talents of diverse peoples, an insatiable thirst for knowledge. That led to world-changing innovations and a booming economy that funded it all. It was a civilization that confidently stood on the shoulders of giants while reaching for the stars. The legacy of this incredible era is still with us, woven into the fabric of our modern world, in our numbers, our words, and our understanding of the cosmos. Thank you so much for joining me on this historical journey. If you found this fascinating, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the stories that shaped our world. Let me know in the comments which empire you'd like to explore next. Until next time, stay curious.